I'd just like firstly to introduce David Warbeck, who's one of our special guests this weekend, so you can please hear appreciation. David's actually here despite not feeling terribly well, which we can perhaps talk about a little bit later on, the reasons behind that, but the fact that he's here at all I think is rather...
Well, thank God for somebody up there. Yeah. Somebody tried to kill me, and my bean patch, they clubbed my head in with a golf club just a few days ago. They've all been arrested and all that sort of shit, having had tried to shoot me the early part of the week. So, I mean, you know, saying this sounds too horrible, you know, and I'm sorry, with so many things...
Well, you would have put that into a movie, people would say, well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like these fuckers that did what they did to Manchester, the bombs and stuff, you know. I'm assuming all of us here are okay, rational people, but people that shove, you know, clubs in people's heads and blow up your city centres and things, you know, people complain about our violence in our films.
They'll probably find they want to watch Chucky 3 or something, and blame it all on that.
Anyway, sorry, so I'm just a bit groggy, that's why I'm doing on my tea, because there we go. Right, let's go.
We've got tea on IV.
It's unreal, all the stuff I have to say, really. Oh, he's on the hard stuff.
Yes. Anyway, David. So what I think we do is we chat for a while about your career, which is, you say, more than 100 films.
Yeah.
So many that you were telling us to me a moment ago that in the recent biography which Harvey Fenton and Jason Slater did, you've actually produced so many films, you keep forgetting them and have to keep thinking, oh, there's one more to add to the definitive filmography.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it?
You were born in New Zealand originally. Talk about how you actually got into the acting field.
Well, all my family is Scottish and stuff, but I was actually brought up in New Zealand, and it's a very beautiful country, and I'm extremely grateful for having been brought up there. Should we be closer? Oh, that's you know, the beaches and all that lot, but New Zealand has a major problem, and that is there's no people. Beautiful beaches, beautiful everything like that. The total population now is about 3 million, in a country that's bigger than England. So social life is beyond dead, and if you're not into sheep, and there's lots of those, the only thing to do is to go along to the local drama group, the local amateur, you know. Now they've got little home movie things, but it was just a local bunch of weirdos, and the whole point of belonging to that group, the local theatre group, was to have lots of parties and lots of humping and lots of good times, and oh, yeah, we did a play, you know. And so basically I'm absolutely amateur in my background, and amateurs I love so very much, for one word, and that is the word love and fun, I suppose. The amateurs do it for the hell of it, for the fun of it, the nonsense of it, and I get so disenchanted with so many so-called professionals, I mean, who are there doing their budgets and, you know, is it worth it, you know, there's not much fun. And this is partly why I went on to, I won't work in the States, sorry guys, God is John now. Anyway, is that the Italian movies are such fabulous fun. They're all mental, they're sure locked up. And we rush around the world with cameras and lots of film. And you won't believe this, I work with about 3 different film families, as I call them. Italian film families. Piero Lucio was one of them. Margheriti, of course, and Fabrizio De Angelis, who we did Favola last year, which has been a huge success. You know about Favola? Yeah. With Ambra? So I'm having fun with this, I like to be well heard. And one of the things about running around the world doing all the films like the Philippines and Turkey and all the other wonderful mad places at other people's expense, it's great, is a bit of film, a bit of camera, a bit of the crew, and not bad stories. But the main feature before any of us get on those planes is that we take on a spaghetti maker. And whatever hotel we're in, if it's in the Philippine jungle, someone's job is to get the kitchen sorted out so we make a pasta. And so working with the Italians is a great joy, because it's very much like back to my New Zealand background of amateurism, if you like, and a hell of a lot of fun. You know?
So really you make Italian films for the fun and the food?
Yes, you're about right. And sorry, there's not much money. I was going to say something else on there about the... Oh yes, well when I came to London, went to the Royal Academy, RADA. I kept saying, where's the fun, where's the fun, where's the hunting? And they were going, you know, who is this person, you know? And so they expelled me. Because I said, I don't want to be Hamlet, I want to be a vampire. Not much fun in there, really.
I would imagine from the way it comes across, certainly from the film they made, that probably the one studio in this country that would have worked in the had fun would have been the Hammer studio. So they're working on Twins of Evil.
Oh God, yeah, that's great. Well, somebody, I don't know if I'm boring people repeating sort of histories, but the Hammer film I did called Twins of Evil, has that been shown yet?
No, it's continually shown.
Oh, sorry. That was like the last big attempt by Hammer to resurrect the life of Hammer. Hammer was dying because television was killing off film in those days. And so this was a big budget attempt to make this the biggest and the glossiest. And the quality of the film was pretty excellent, I must say. Pity about me and my long hair. But what was the question? Oh, what about?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was also one of the first films in which Hammer, as it did in its latter films, tried to introduce an erotic element. Because I think it went more and more in the later films. But I mean, you had the famous Collingwood.
I had the wonderful Collinson twins. The two little girls from Malta. We called them the Maltesers. They don't melt in your hand. And Mary and Madden. They were gorgeous, and they couldn't keep their bloody clothes on. They kept stripping them off every day. Oh, there we go again. And I'd just been expelled from RADA, and I just finished doing Robin Hood. I've got these great legs. Me in green tights is really good. And it was directed by Johnny Huff, who did Twins of Evil, and almost the entire cast of Twins of Evil were in Robin Hood, which we just shot, I don't know, a few months before. And that was also came out under a Hammer banner, because Hammer was trying to spread around, and On the Buses was one of Hammer's last attempts, along with Twins of Evil. But that was a great load of fun to do. Peter Cushing, of course, no one can say a bad thing against that man. Absolutely magical, generous. I was chucked out of RADA, trying to cope with how to act on film, and I was making all the classic mistakes of speaking, oh, here comes the vampire, and, you know, lippy stuff. And Peter warned me, he said, David, and he gave me such good technical advice all the time. Mitchum gave me the basic advice about using your lips. You know, Mitchum's face doesn't move. And he said, no, you talk like that, and so whatever you're saying, they can change the lips into Japanese or a German or whatever the fuck they want. But if you go ham out brown cow, you know, they've got to match the bloody lips. And so I learned that one years ago. And Peter Cushing was very, very sweet in helping me on that. His wife had died, and as most of you do know, he was devoted so entirely to his wife. And every day after the shoot, he would, on his bike, would pedal off to a graveyard and sit there just begging to be with them. And he didn't make any song or dance about that. But if you see Twins of Evil the next time, that to me is superb acting, because the violence of his portrayal, the energy in that monster, the governor or whatever he was in the film, you know, kill a man whose spirit was dead, and that gentleness in the man. Wonderful, wonderful guy, wonderful guy.
Well, I honestly want to talk more about your career than his, but it struck me in that film that he was playing a villain in many ways.
Yeah.
A very change for him.
Yeah.
He also, around the same time, did Trump with Freddie Francis, one of our guests this weekend. What do you remember?
Is Freddie here yet?
I don't believe he's here tomorrow. Oh, right. Is that what goes there? What are your memories of working with Freddie?
Oh, well, Freddie, one of the sweetest hearts in the biz. Some of you may know of an American producer who's one of my very best friends, called Herman Cohen of Herman Cohen Productions. He wrote, directed, or set up things like I Was a Teenage Werewolf, I Was Teenage, just about everything. And he did Joan Crawford's last two films. And this is where Freddie came in, and Freddie obviously directed Trog. And I was terrified meeting a legend. You can imagine this, guys, come on. you're chucked out and you're still not sure what England's about, and you're fresh from the sheep farms back down there, whatever. And here you have this mega star in front of you, Joan Crawford. Oh, how old. She was magic, by the way. Oh, can I digress a bit here? Because I'm totally opposed to... there are so many evil things in the world these days. One of them is built-in obsolescence, like your car or your fridge or your clothes are designed to collapse. You know, you can have cars if they go forever, but they want the money on it. The other thing I hate and detest very much is maligning the dead. You can say any lies, mistruths about dead people, and Joan Crawford is one of them.
She's much maligned.
Mummy dearest is what I'm getting at, and that bitch daughter of hers that I think's a cripple these days. The story about Joan Crawford was one of the most magical ladies I have ever worked with. Generous, sweetheart. She taught me how to turn shit into gold, basically, which I told the producers. They said, "What do you mean shit into gold? That's a good script." Oh, sorry. And dear Freddie, of course, was helping and making that shit look really glittery, you know. And the story about Joan, very quickly, is that Joan, in her good days, set up trusts for her 4 children. Not many of you know it was 4. Because the only ones in the hideous books, Mummy Dearest and da-da-da-da, were 2 children. She set up these trusts, which would mature in their mid-20s or something like that, for the kids, in case she hit hard times. Right, maturity time turned up. Christina was an alcoholic, because Jesus, we have punch-ups with her on the film, so she used to turn a rolling drunk, being an absolute cow. I'm all for the truth, guys. I don't like bitching, but... And the boy, well, I won't get too specific there, but he was a problem. And the other 2 good guys toed the line. When the trust matured, Joan basically said, "Why should you 2 assholes get the dosh when these 2 kids have had to, you know, why should they lose out? So they get the lot, you get minus the hospital bills." So Christine said, "I'll get you, Mummy Dearest." Dead, and out comes all that bitch shit, you know? That's horrible, that Marlon Dietrich, lovely Bette Davis, you know, oh, why? It's pathetic all that, isn't it? Really, you know, kill the idols. Anyway, Freddie Francis and Trog. Trog was a hoot to do. Here's a story on Joan. We're on location. Trog, for those of you who don't know about Trog, it's about the missing link between man and monkey that we discover in a cave outside of London somewhere. And we
They saved on locations.
Yeah, and we hired this wrestler. We stuck a monkey hat on him. We stuck the hair on his tits, and he just went grr a lot. And Joan was the American scientist who came up with her constant line, and that was, "Fetch me my hypo gun." And she was always like, you know, and knocking the monkey out so she could go and feed the plastic lizards to them. She was the scientist, and I was sort of a junior reporter. Anyway, on location, and I had a caravan with some of the other boys, you know, John Howland, so she obviously had her own. Bang on the door one morning, about 8ish, 7:30, 8ish, and there was this little short grandma, curlers in the hair. I said, "Yeah," and she said, "Hi guys, it's me." It was Joan Crawford. And she had a frying pan in her hand. Now, Joan's face, that wonderful arched eyebrows and the jaw, was makeup. She drew the makeup to make the jaw. Everything was genius. I mean, all the top people, you know, I've been modeling all my life as well, photo modeling and commercials, hundreds of commercials and stuff. And I've worked with the top beauties in the world, the Jerrys and the Marie, you know, going on. And nearly all of them are dogs without the makeup on. But they know how to make it look right. They really do, and Joan was a classic example of that. So there was this little grandma who was barely recognisable with a frying pan and a kettle. "Hi boys, listen, I know we've got the catering truck over here for breakfast and stuff, but I love cooking my own ham and eggs, and I just love it if you guys could come over and have ham and eggs with me because I like the company." Now that's a different story.
That's certainly not the aloof star image that films.
No way.
Freddie's obviously got more than director, got a career as a cinematographer. Did you find, when working with him, from memory of that he was more involved than, say, with the setting up of shots and the actual look of the film, maybe than other directors you work with?
Well, Freddie is a genius. He's an absolute genius. Did you see his Sons and Lovers? And you know the film Sons and Lovers? Black and white. You can go on about the whole storyline. There was one scene in it when the dad who's dying looks at this painting of daffodils at the end of the bed. You'd swear it was colour. He lit it, Freddie lit it. So extraordinary. Well, that's what he got the Oscar for. He's a genius. Freddie is, what a talent, an absolute talent, and generous. Here's a Freddie story. We did another film together by Herman Cohen again called Craze. Jack Palance and Herman got this great idea. Jack Palance is gay. And he owns this antique shop with Martin Potter. I got Martin into the script. Sorry, guys.
Do you want to take a break for
No, I'm fine. Because, your time runs out. The story is called Craze, and it was about a voodoo doll down in the basement of the antique shop that takes people's minds over. Right, the sequence was Jack Palance had gone loopy down in his basement with an axe. And what he had to do was start off, "Well, you ready, Jack? You ready?" And Freddie was really sweet. Can you do this, Jack? Oh, yeah. Because most of the time Jack just slept. He was all right. He's a nice guy. And all he had to do was pick, "You ready for it?" "Yeah." "Okay." And he had to just turn in a circle in this antique junk shop with all the shelves and stuff around. Those of you who've seen the scene. And it builds up to him going, totally mental. And the police had been called, me, and I was, I don't know what it was, CID or something. And I had to come in and knock on the door, because we could hear this ranting going, and we knew he was flipping. And then I had to smash the door and come and have a fight, and I get axed to death, I think. And here we go. And sorry, guys. Oh, God, I'm on these funny pills. So we did all that. Well, one thing I've always wanted to do is to smash a set. You know, when you have all these Hollywood starlets who look in the mirror and they can't stand their face, they smash all the mirrors and wipe all the bottles off. I've always wanted to do one of those things. Anyway, this was near enough where I had to smash a door. Now, I don't know how many doors you guys have smashed in. But I thought, oh God, this is going to be a challenge. Okay, so we couldn't rehearse it. We just rehearsed it technically. Right, come here, whack the door. Go there. Jack's doing that. Okay, right. Ready, everyone? There's about 4 cameras. Jack, yeah. Okay, Jack. Okay, David, bang on the door. Okay, David, smash the door. All right, here we go. I went, boom, whack like that. Smash the door. The door went boom. Like a rocket. I was so impressed with what I did, I stood there going, oh! Freddie's face. Cut. And Jackson, Freddie said, "David, 5 minutes coffee, everyone, David." He said, "Butch, please." Okay, guys, well, good to chat. I love talking about it.
And whilst you show your appreciation, I'd like to, on behalf of the committee, show our appreciation, particularly coming here this weekend, and present you with this as a mark of our appreciation of your contribution to our children.
Thanks so much. Not picky, there you go. I won't do anything rude. What you got? Are you kidding?
You're in.
Am I in here?
Yes.
Where? Can you show us? No, but am I in it? Is that all Christopher Lee's?
No, it's not.
Give me bums. I bet Ingrid Pitt's in there. Because I met her the other day. We want to make a film together. Oh, sure, yeah. The film was gone. How old was that film? About 12 years old? That's Steve, because he's mad. Not as mad as me.
David, I met you in Watford.
Yes, I remember you. Hi.
And I sent you the video of Joseph Cotton.
That's right. Yes, and we did speak.
We did speak
Oh,
on
thank
phone.
God, because so often people send me stuff and I mean to ring and I don't.
Yes, you wrote to me and...
Did you see? Did you replay it and see the
advert.
commercial?
Yes, I never saw it the first time.
It was
round.
the Oscars.
The Oscars, yeah.
Yeah, isn't it a load of hoot?
Now, did you see Wolfstead the other day?
What?
On UK Gold?
No, we don't bloody hell. They're doing everything. Oh, go away. Oh, you're so kind.
That's me there.
Yeah. Oh, Michael, that's bloody hell. Oh, it's worth it all, isn't it?
It's been on television for a long, long time.
No, it's pretty awful. Yeah, with me going around with all that hair.